All right, for this deep dive, we were focusing on just one single property.
But what a property.
Exactly. The absolutely eye-watering 110 million Giga mansion at 17 Belgrave Square in London.
Right.
And our mission, really, is to use this listing, this huge price tag, as a kind of diagnostic tool.
To see what it tells us about the very top of the market.
Is this a sign that prime central London is roaring back? Or is this just a massive high-risk gamble in what's actually a surprisingly soft market?
And I think for you listening, it's about understanding that gap, that huge difference between a headline price and the actual economic reality on the ground.
So let's start with the asset itself.
Yeah.
17 Belgrave Square.
It's incredible.
It is. We're talking 22,000 square feet, grade I listed. It's got this magnificent white stucco front.
And it has features you just can't find anymore.
Like a 3-car garage. I mean, in Belgravia, that's
Yeah.
almost impossible. A massive luxury.
But it's the history, I think, that the developer is really selling here. This is, proper institutional grade London.
Built in the 1840s.
Yeah. It was first owned by an MP, Sir Ralph Howard, who was a key abolition campaigner. Later, Queen Victoria's relatives stayed there.
And then for nearly 40 years, it was the Royal College of Psychiatrists.
Exactly. Can you imagine that contrast? Psychiatric conferences being held in this grand 19th century ballroom.
Yeah.
That kind of history is what gives it, well, a unique story.
And that story is exactly what the developer, Fenton Whelan, is banking on. So let's get into the commercial play here, the numbers.
This is where it gets really interesting.
They bought it in 2022 for $35 million.
Okay. Then they secured a loan just for the renovation.
Not just any loan, a $29.5 million work loan. That's almost as much as the purchase price itself.
And now the asking price is?
110 million pounds. More than tripling their initial investment in, 3 years?
It's a huge conviction play, a massive thesis. It confirms really two things. First, they believe these truly unique assets are completely disconnected from the general market.
And second,
That the banks are still willing to lend big, but only for these, absolutely one-of-a-kind, non-replicable trophy buildings.
okay, but here's the wrinkle, isn't it? Here's the cold, hard data. If that price is so optimistic, what's the actual state of prime central London right now?
It's surprisingly soft, subdued.
How subdued are we talking?
Well, if you look at super prime sales, so that's anything over 10 million pounds,
Right.
they're currently running 22% below the 10-year average.
Wow. And what about in Belgravia itself?
Even more stark, really. Average values there are still down, get this, up to 24% below their peak.
And that peak was in.
2014, a decade ago.
So this isn't just a random slump. It's policy-driven, right? Things like the big stamp duty hikes, Brexit.
Absolutely, all of those, and perhaps the biggest one, the changes to non-domiciled status. It just fundamentally shrank the pool of buyers who can even consider this level.
So this 110 million listing isn't really a sign the market's recovering?
No, it's a statement of belief. They believe they can find that one single, globally mobile billionaire who is just looking for security and heritage. Someone who doesn't care about the general UK economic cycle.
And to really understand the scale of that risk, we should probably recall a recent cautionary tale. The home in Regent's Park.
Ah, yes, the home. A perfect example.
It was on the market for an astronomical price, wasn't it?
250 million. And it sat there for 2 years. Just sat.
Until it finally sold for.
Reportedly, somewhere around 139 million.
So that's the context, right? It proves these assets are incredibly illiquid, and the headline price is almost never what's achieved.
Exactly. The pricing power has completely shifted to the buyer.
So the key takeaway for you listening is that PCL, Prime Central London, it's not the market leader anymore. It's actually lagging the cycle, weighed down by policy.
And if we tie all of that back to 17 Belgrave Square, it means the future value of that beautiful property.
It's not about the bricks, not the architecture or the fancy interior.
No. It depends entirely on one single question. Whether London, as a city and as a jurisdiction, remains consistently attractive to that tiny, tiny group of global buyers who can actually write a check that big.
A group that is incredibly sensitive to political change.
Extremely sensitive. And that really is the 110 million per question.